For more than one reason today, the topic of trauma and how to apply solution-focused brief therapy when you're working with clients who've experienced trauma is on my mind. One of them is, throughout my years of teaching and writing about solution-focused ideas, how do you use this approach with trauma honestly might be the number one question that I have received. And I know there's tons of reasons for that. Research says that over 70% of people experience a significant trauma at some point in their life. And also, everybody understands solution-focused brief therapy, and we find it easy to use this approach when the client is there because they have a problem, like they've just not been feeling well recently and maybe a little bit blue, or having a transition adjustment or some marital problems, that sort of thing. But when the problem is as grandiose as have survived sexual assault, has survived a violent assault, has survived significant drug use and parental abuse, we start wondering, can this approach really work in this setting? And one of the other reasons why trauma's on my mind is just today, I woke up to yet another mass shooting that's taken place in America. And all I can do is think, what is it like for the people who have lived through these experiences? And it's troubling to me. It really genuinely is troubling to me. So today, in today's video, in this video, the one thing I think I want to convey to you, the one thing I want every single person out there who's interested in using the solution-focused approach to know and to believe and to get deeply into your bones is that clients and people are amazing, and they have the ability to achieve their goals in spite of any circumstances that have impacted their lives. I want to say that again because it's so important, that people have the ability to accomplish their goals in spite of any of the troubles that have impacted them. Over the course of my 15 years in practice, the things that I have seen clients achieve in spite of where they've come from is mind-boggling to me. I met a woman once, I'll give you an example. I met a woman once, and have you ever been talking to someone who has survived something that you don't think you could have survived? They've been through something that you are sure would have just broken your spirit. Well, this one time, early in my career, I met a woman who was dealing with a lot of drug abuse, and she'd gotten in some significant legal trouble as a result of the drug abuse that she was going on. She was really young, but she had had 2 children, and those 2 children had been removed from her home. And when she told me her story of her childhood, when she was growing up and she hit puberty, she developed early. And her mother's friends became attracted to her, even though she was a young girl. And her mother started trading. I won't be too explicit, but her friends could spend time with her if they gave their mother drugs. And this took place throughout most of this young person's life. To cope with that pain in her teenage and late teenage years, she started using drugs. And I mean serious drugs: cocaine, crack cocaine, crystal methamphetamine, serious drugs, to the point she gets herself in legal trouble and she loses custody of her children, and the court mandates she come to therapy. So I asked this young person, and by this time I'm seeing her, she's in her 20s, what are your best hopes from our talking? And I can almost feel myself getting emotional talking about it. And what are your best hopes from our talking? And she said that she wanted to get her children back, and she didn't think that was going to be possible because of all the things that were going on and how much trouble she was in. If it were possible, what difference did it make to you? I'd feel like a good mom and I could break the cycle. That's when she told me about what her mother had done to her and what her mother's mother and her mother's mother's mother, all that kind of stuff. So if you could overcome that, what would you notice yourself? And she starts just describing herself as an overcomer instead of as a victim. Now, we met a few times, and at the time, I had no idea whether she got her children back or not. She met the standard that the court mandated for her to come to therapy, stop coming to therapy, and that was that. A few weeks ago, that woman invited me to see her children. She said that you were so helpful for me, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was. I'd like you to meet my 2 children. And her 2 children are now in their teenage years. They're teenage girls and struggling in school. And at the end of that session, when I met the teenage girls, the mom, the client I saw previously, talked to me about how her life had been after those sessions. She said, I got my children back, I got clean, I went to school, I met my current husband, and I've been clean from drugs since that time. And I just couldn't believe that this person had been able to turn their life around in spite of this amazing trouble that she had getting it started. And to be honest with you, I've got 1,000 stories like that from 1,000 different clients, because there's one thing I've been convinced of, is that people can achieve their goals in spite of any negative circumstance in their past. That's what makes me so excited about using solution-focused brief therapy, because I think that we are the light in this world where there is so much darkness. And I think I have a compulsion now to share that even more than I ever have before, because I keep waking up to news of these incredibly dark things happening. And as long as there are dark things happening, then I think we have to share the light things that are happening too. And the thing I want to share today is, if you're going to use this approach, I beg you to hold into your heart, get into your bones, that every single client can achieve anything in spite of their past. We need to know that now more than we ever have before, because we are being inundated with more dark news and more difficult times than I can remember in my 42 years on this earth. So let's remember, look, it's important that you know how to ask the best hopes question, and about how to ask about exceptions and the miracle question, all that kind of stuff. But you have to really believe that people can achieve any goal from any circumstance in order to be fluent with these questions, because the questions aren't relevant unless they come from the proper framework. And that's what this is all about. So I want you to just go out and be a light in this dark world. And maybe if we have enough lights, we will drown out the darkness. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a like, give me a share. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, click subscribe and the little button so you get, and the little bell so you get notified when I post videos. Head on over to elliottconnie.com, where I've got loads of free stuff. And thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.